Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Wanda Curlee, your authority on project, program, and portfolio management. Today's podcast is brought to you by PM Powered, which is a consulting firm to help you with your project, program, and portfolio management. So without further ado, let's get a little bit into the articles and information I have found for this week. So Pedro Dominguez is a noted author in artificial intelligence, and he had an interview with Der Spiegel, which is a German outfit, and it was very interesting because he alluded in his talks that those that understand and harness artificial intelligence will be very aggressive and very noted in their areas of expertise. He also said this with countries. So for example, he knows that Russia considers itself a premier in the artificial intelligence area. He also noted that China is a very forward-looking country with artificial intelligence. So for those countries that are not, we run the risk of running far behind. Now, he did say that there are other countries that do harness artificial intelligence, but not to the extent that Russia and China do. And one of those is the United States. Now, maybe with extra funding, we would be able to harness that, but the United States has not made it an integral part of the research and development within the government. And that is a shame. It should not be that way. He also says that those industries that capture artificial intelligence will also harness better acuity within their needs, within their profession. So I advocate that artificial intelligence needs to be incorporated into those tools that we use in project management so that we can be forward-thinking and forward-looking as to how we do project management. Without AI, we are running the risk of being left behind in the world of business. And that is not what we need to do because we are finally pushing into the area of strategy. So what's some other things that are happening? There's autonomous boats will be on the market sooner than self-driving cars. That is absolutely amazing to me. Yes, there are boats that are self-driving, but it doesn't mean that there isn't anybody overseeing it, that they're doing it on their own. There is a center back on land that is monitoring, understanding what they're doing at any one time. So why is it that boats are, self-driving boats are more prolific than self-driving cars? Well, it comes down to revenue. Remember, money drives everything. And if these boats, and these are cargo ships, if they don't have to have a crew, if they can go into a port without having to have somebody steering them because they have their autonomous steering, then you save on the tugboat captain, you save on extra crews. So right now that is absolutely driving this would be once it gets to dock is unloading the boat and then loading it back up. And I would venture to guess at some point this will be done by the boat itself. So stay tuned for watching what happens with self-driving boats because I think it's absolutely amazing on that. So how Apple will use AR to reinvent the human-computer interface. So AR is augmented reality. We have already augmented reality with Apple. Apple uses the glasses where you look at an iOS platform. So if you have the glasses from Apple, you already are able to see a little bit of what's happening. But what Apple is saying is that in the future, if you have these augmented reality glasses, it'll be farther than going to the iOS laptop on a tablet or even on your phone, on your Apple phone. You'll be able to look at things and understand what exactly does that company or that organization have to offer. So if you're walking down the street with your iOS phone, you can look into your smartphone and say, oh, so the next Nordstrom, because I want to shop for some clothes, is just around the corner here. Or even more so, it would tell me if I just look into it and say, hey, I would like to have some Chinese dishes today. It would be able to send me to the different Chinese restaurants and would give me not only that, but it would give me understanding about how good these Chinese restaurants are, how creative they are, what kind of food do they offer, or should I stay away from them because they're absolutely nothing that I should be going to, because this augmented reality would also understand what my likes and dislikes are. So AI, along with augmented reality, is just on the border of becoming reality for all of us. So stay tuned. Okay. PM Network, which is a publication by PMI, just came out. Came out early last week. And they did a thing on the women in project management, and I found it absolutely fascinating. So they are talking about some of the different statistics. So I'm going to read some of the statistics that I have for you. Shattering the glass ceiling, as we say here in the United States. No, we haven't quite done it. 75% of the CEOs who say there are 75% of the CEOs that say gender equality needs to happen, but it's not happening quick enough. And this was one of their top priorities. Again, that was only 75% of the CEOs, while it should be 100%. So at the entry level, it is on par, 1-to-1. So you see as many women as men coming into it. But once you get into the executive leadership, it drops down to 4-to-1. So for every 5 people, there's only one woman in those. That is terrible. And I am just appalled by those numbers. So, and we're losing ground as well. So in 2016, it was thought that in 2016, it was thought that it would take 83 years for there to be gender equality, closing the gender gap. In 2017, this went up to 100 years to close that gap. We're going backwards, folks, here. In 2016, it was estimated 170 years was the estimate of how long it will take for women to reach the economic parity with men. 170 years was the estimate in 2016. Well, guess what? In 2017, it was 217 years. Again, we're going backwards, folks. I can't believe this. I am absolutely appalled by these numbers. What's going on? What's driving this? Well, that doesn't really say, but I was just absolutely appalled. So what are some of the countries that have a better gender, that have a greater parity of men and women? So believe it or not, Burundi is at 91% gender parity. Barbados is at 88%. Bahamas at 87%. And I don't even see the U.S. on this scale. So that means we are below 80% on the parity board. That's absolutely terrible. So where does the United States fit in? It's 78%. Isn't that awful? It's just not even, it's deplorable at this point. So what are some of the other countries? Germany's at 72%. The United Kingdom is at 71%. France is at 68%. China is at 65%. Japan is at 58%. And India, believe it or not, is at 38%. Can you believe those numbers? I'm just appalled by them. So how much do women make in the workplace? Well, I don't want to give you exact, but what is the disparity between men and women? So on Australia, with the Australian dollar, it's $11,942. So there's almost $12,000 difference between men and women in Australia. In Brazil, it's in their local currency, it's 15,472. In Canada, with the Canadian dollar, it's 12,248. In Germany, with the euro, it's 10,412 euros. In India, with their local currency, it's 290,506. With Mexico, it's 108,508. In Nigeria, it's 1.25 million in their local currency. In the United States, it's $11,218 between men and women. In the United Kingdom, it's 11,401 in their sterling, in their pound, I'm sorry. So that's appalling to me that we still have that gender disparity in how much we are paid. So let's shift the gears a little bit. Let's see what's going on in the world of PMI. So the PMI EMEA Congress is happening in Berlin, Germany, starting on 7 May. So on today, when you see this, they will have already started. The PMI Global Conference is being held in Los Angeles from 6 to 8 October, so you want to look out for that. And the PMO Symposium, which is where they talk about project management organizations and portfolio management usually, is happening in Washington, D.C. from 11 to 14 November. These are all great congresses and great events to be at. You learn a lot of things. You can also earn PDUs if you are in project management, a project management certified professional, whether it be in PMP, whether it be in scheduling, risks, program, or portfolio management. These are all areas where you have to earn PDUs. So these are great events to go to earn quite a bit of PDUs. So this podcast has been brought to you by PM Powered, your consulting firm to bring you everything that's project, program, and portfolio management. Please go to PM Current and subscribe to my YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook accounts, and Twitter accounts. I'd love to have you follow me to see what's going on the latest. Remember, we are here to hear from you. I would love to hear from you, or if you are a project manager in one of the industries that I talked about today. So if you work for Apple, we would love to hear from you on what you're doing in the world of Apple project management. If you are in healthcare, that's another wide area. Or if you're in the world of AI, I would love to hear from you if you're a project manager. If I'm not covering something that you want me to cover, please send me an email at wanda@pmpowered.com. I would love to hear from you as to what things I am not covering. If you have an event that you would like me to advertise, please reach out to me. I'd love to advertise your event because this is everything about project management. It's been good to talk to you today, and I look forward to talking to you next Monday. Take care and see you soon.